and even as far away as Hawaii. I don't know if Will got up early in the morning over there in Hawaii to be with us today or not. I hope so. If not, when he watches this recorded later, he'll hear me call his name, and I'll get bonus points for that. So I hope that you're able to be with us, Will, out there in Hawaii, and anybody else watching there. We have a special guest who's over on the West Coast that'll be with us today. James will be talking with her in just a little bit. If you've been with us before, you know the routine. Your mics are being muted as you come on board this morning or this afternoon. The questions will be directed to the chat feature. Jamie and Paula are monitoring Zoom. Mark Ye is over on Facebook. So if you have questions, just type them in. They'll make sure that they get routed all the way to through the magic of communications to James's ear, and he will get responses for you there in Lakeland at the studio. But we're really, really excited that you're able to be with us today. Hope you're having a great week already. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful week here, and looking forward to taking some time later this afternoon and doing some grandchildren things. So Grump's duty comes in this afternoon. So glad that you're able to be with us, and going to give everybody just a couple more minutes here to get locked in and to get on board here. But it's good to see you. I'm looking up, trying to see some of the faces on my other screen, but I want to keep close to my notes today. So once again, your mics are muted. If you have questions, direct them to the chat feature there. Jamie, Paula, and Mark will cover things there. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start out with an update on the Holy Land. We got some picks for you. We have a group there in the Holy Land. If you remember, just a couple of weeks ago, James and Jamie and several of us were there, and we had a really great time. Well, you can see by this group's pictures, look at there, smiling faces all around, plenty of food to go. They have had a great time. You can tell by the pictures that everything is open. They have, you can see there at Mike's picture that they have been down to Jericho. They were at the baptismal site. They were in Bethlehem. They've been in the old city. So they have been able to be all over the West Bank and Israel, and they have not had any problems. We continue to watch those requirements. You probably heard that Israel had reinstituted the indoor mask requirement. So we're watching and monitoring those requirements as they change, as people go in and out, and we're informing groups as we move forward. We've got a couple of other groups that are going to be heading out in the next day or so. So we look forward to more updates coming in from the Holy Land. Really excited about that. So I just saw something pop up that somebody has no sound. I hope that we can get that worked out. Got a couple of familiarization trips we want to talk about for you. So we've got some slides of those coming up. If you're looking for a great last minute getaway this summer, we have a couple of great cruise opportunities that we have got for you. It's out of Nassau. It is on the Adventure of the Seas, and you can see the dates there. One departs on July the 24th. The other one departs on August the 7th. So if you're wanting to do something towards the end of the summer here, before the kids go back to school, this might be it. 2 days at Perfect Day. I mean, look at there at the ship and that island. That would be a great place to spend a few days if you like beach, sand, sun, surf, and all that. So that would be a really great opportunity for you to do that. Some great prices on that. So check that out. We also want to tell you about something that's brand new to us. This is the first time you're going to see this one. This is the Romantic Danube fam trip. It is on August the 14th through the 22nd, $2,098. You can see the itinerary there. If you're taking a group on the Oberammergau Passion Play river cruise, this is the cruise that's attached to that. And I'm sure our guests can tell you more about that in just a little bit. But this will give you a chance to be oriented to the cruise, come back, build up excitement with your folks. So I would urge, you're not going to find a better price on this trip. So this is including air too from New York. So I would jump all over this. The first river cruise I ever did was on the Danube, and loved it. Can't wait to go back again. In fact, I'll be doing the Christmas cruise there in December. So really, really, really excited about that. So take advantage of this special opportunity there. Then we have a cruise on the Jewel of the Seas that will be on August the 27th. That's a Mediterranean fam cruise, a familiarization cruise there. So you can see the price up there, $35.49 from New York. That includes your airfare. That's got a couple of days there in Istanbul for you. It's a really great trip. So if you want for a chance to do something like that, the picture there in the top is, I believe, the caldera there in Santorini. So those blue tops on the roofs and that gorgeous water. So I'd encourage you to look that one over too. We've got a fam trip coming up for the Holy Land. That's $16.98. That's going to be on September the 3rd. Registration is going to end on July the 23rd for that one. If you know a pastor who's never been to the Holy Land, this is your chance to introduce him or her to that opportunity. You know, I know that we've got a lot of hosts out there watching today. So what I'm going to ask is that you as hosts reach out to your sphere of influence and encourage folks to sign up now, because they're going to see the Holy Land as they will never have a chance to see it again. And this would be a great way to introduce them and also to encourage the folks there who have been desperately looking for us to return, who could use our presence there as a sign of hope and encouragement and support for them. They, as you know, by the last several of our webinars have had a really hard time there. We also have an Oberammergau fam trip that's coming up in September the 7th. Registration for that ends on July the 23rd. We've had great response to this fam. We've got quite a few people signed up, 20 something folks already signed up, I think 26 or so. So it's a really great opportunity to do that if you'd like to go and get oriented to the Passion Play and the area around Oberammergau. The Norwegian Jade fam trip is a special price with air, $22.98. That's including your air. You can see the places that it's going. It also has several other amenities included. I believe it has your gratuities, drinks, and a Wi-Fi package and a couple of nights at specialty restaurants, I believe, on that. You'll want to check that out. I mean, this is an absolute bargain basement price on this, folks. So I've been encouraging everybody I know, if you've ever wanted to do the Greek islands, the Norwegian Jade cruise is a one to do it on. We also have a fam trip to Greece. If you want to do a land tour, go into Thessaloniki, come on down through the northern part into the southern part, end up at Athens and Corinth. I was in Greece just a few days ago. Things are functioning normally there. You saw the pics and the testimonies from our group who were just there. They had a fabulous trip, and all those folks told me they want to go back again. So I hope that you get a chance to check that out. So we'd love to see some more of you sign up to do that. We are also going to do another Holy Land fam trip in January. So we've already got that on the books, so be aware of that. We have one departing on the 10th of January, and then we have a Catholic fam trip departing on the 12th of January. So you can see those prices that are coming up there on the screen. So be aware of those. Once again, an opportunity for you as host to reach out to pastors, and you know, as a host, what the benefits of these trips are. I mean, you know, people come back changed, they come back different, it empowers them, it emboldens them, it changes their discipleship. Give us a chance to partner with your friends and colleagues in ministry. That's what we're asking for, and asking you to help us do that. So hope that you'll be reaching out to some folks and encouraging them to do one of these Holy Land fam trips. We really appreciate that. So, you know, I've gone on quite a bit today, got quite a few things hanging out there, but these are not always going to be there, so take advantage of them now. We're really glad to have our special guest here with us today. James is going to introduce her to you. We'll be talking about AmaWaterways in Europe. And so, James, there in the studio. How's it going down there today, sir?
Tom, it's going well. You didn't give us the weather report from Kentucky, but looks
It's
like
hot, buddy. It's one step removed from Hades, I think, today. So, it's hot.
warm down here, and the thunderstorms are already coming. So if we mysteriously black out again, you can just pick up with.
I'll just pick. It was really interesting, James, that I think I was more satisfied when they didn't tell you the feels like temperature. When 95 was 95 and it didn't feel like 105. I mean, okay, it's just hot, but
yeah, it is. Well, Tom, it's also, I think I was counting here, it's about our 30th webinar since COVID started. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be happy to. I enjoy doing these, but really happy that we're actually showing people traveling someplace now with these webinars. So, but I appreciate the introduction, and let me introduce our guest today, Kristin Karst. Kristin was on one of our early webinars last year in 2020. So, Kristin, we're glad to have you back. Kristin's a co-founder and co-owner and executive vice president of AmaWaterways. And while that all really sounds impressive, her influence in AmaWaterways is even more, in my estimation, as you feel like you're really Kristin's personal guest in our house when you're on board any of the AmaWaterways ships. You can just feel her small touches all over this fantastic travel product. So, Kristin, really glad to have you back again.
Thank you so much, James, and hello, good afternoon, everyone. It's really an honor to be back and to spend the next few minutes together with you. And timing couldn't be better because on Thursday, July the 1st, AmaWaterways is celebrating its 19th company anniversary. So 19 years on the river, that was an incredible journey. And now, of course, just 2 days later, on July the 3rd, we are starting up with our European operations again, and we are truly dancing the happy dance. So the very, very first departure will be on board our AmaDouro in Portugal on the beautiful Douro River. If you haven't been there, this is, of course, a must to go into the future. Of course, nothing that you can connect so easily to Oberammergau as you can do it with the Danube and the Rhine, but beautiful wine areas, great places, cultural, religious places. So lots to do there. Now, I am actually leaving for Europe to open our French season there. So we have ships on the Rhone River. My namesake ship, the Ama Christina, starting there in Avignon on July 22nd. Then the same week, we are starting with our AmaLyra on the Seine River, going from Paris round trip to Le Havre, back to Paris. And then just 1 week later, we start with our AmaDolce in Bordeaux. And that is, of course, another beautiful itinerary. Bordeaux is not just famous for all the French vineyards and fantastic wine, but in general, the people there are so wonderful, very nice. Bordeaux is a charming city, and the whole ambiance, so like the French savoir-vivre, how we always say, is second to none. Now, I know many of you will be on the Danube, and of course you saw our fam trip on the Amabella on August 15. But we are opening the Danube River already on July 21st. And no one else than our president, Rudi Schreiner. He's also called the godfather of river cruising. So he will open up our Danube operations on the double wide Ama Magna. So that's the luxury of space with oversized cabins. The majority of our staterooms is 350 square feet. That is more than a suite on a regular river cruise ship, but also for restaurants, spinning with a view, bikes, wellness, beautiful sun deck, swimming pool, jacuzzi. And I'm just saying this because this ship, the Ama Magna, is actually extremely attractive for clients who have not stepped into river cruising yet have always done ocean cruising because clients felt maybe river cruising doesn't give enough options, it's too small, not enough to do. But trust me there, the Ama Magna is the most luxurious ship that ever exists on the river. So, and then shortly after, we are starting on the Rhine River, and we also have two brand new ships there, the Ama Siena and the Ama Lucia. Both ships were waiting now to get christened. And now we have two christening cruises coming. One, Ama Siena, starts in Amsterdam on August 26th and goes to Basel and ends there on September the 2nd. And the Ama Lucia starts in Amsterdam on August 24 and ends in Luxembourg. So it's going into this beautiful scenic Moselle area and ends there on August 31st. So both ships will be christened in Lahnstein. Lahnstein is close to Koblenz, where this very picturesque Rhine castle area starts. And I also want to tell you that we didn't waste any time. The Amadalia, our brand new ship on the Nile River in Egypt, is currently being completed. And the Amadalia, very small ship, less than 80 guests on board, will have her maiden voyage on September 6th. Now, in the beginning, we will not cruise with full capacity. So on our European ships, we have capacity to about 70%, at least for the months of July and August, until we see what's happening then if we can go up to 100% again. But you will see when you come on Amabella on your fam trip, the ships are not full. I mean, many guests have decided to move to 2022 and to 2023, which I see both ways. First of all, we are so happy because when I look at 22, we are 120% above the bookings for 2019. 2019, that was pre-COVID time. That was our best year ever. And now imagine how full the ships are already for 2022. And you know it because I know you see the same demand. And we are booking already in 2023. And by fall, we should have our 2024 schedule available. The downside I feel to this is this year, 21, is the transition year. And because not so many people are traveling international, you will have the best of the worlds in Europe. It's not crowded. It's very charming. It's very authentic when you are together with just a few people instead of so many. So that, I believe, this year will be the very best travel experience. We just have to overcome all these, questions. And I can see that many guests are just not comfortable yet because, there are a lot of questions about the protocols and entry regulations of the different countries. Now, as AmaWaterways, we update our websites with all the entry restrictions pretty much every day. Every country where we go is listed. Do you need to be vaccinated or not? And countries within the European Union are very different there. So while the European Union says this is what they plan to do, every country has the right to overrule this decision. Now, when I say I'm going to France, last week, France still requested that all travelers who enter France for non-essential travel, and tourism is non-essential travel, that all travelers will need to be vaccinated. That restriction was lifted now. So now you are allowed to enter France also if you're not vaccinated. However, you need to show a negative PCR test that has to be taken not longer than 72 hours before flying or entering the country. So those are the restrictions. And again, Portugal didn't request anything. Right now, you probably have heard in Lisbon, cases go up again. However, you know, there are no restrictions yet, but we are monitoring the situation if maybe the government will say at one point, now you have to be vaccinated in order to enter Portugal. So those are a little bit the tricky parts when it comes to this. But I strongly feel who wants to travel? And I think that's all of us, because we are in travel. We have learned in COVID times, flexibility is the key. As long as you go with a partner you can trust. And you know, you can trust, of course, educational opportunities, and you can trust AmaWaterways. That's why I am going, and all our executives are going on all our first cruises to be there together with our guests, to lead the way, to see what's really there, and to step in immediately if there is something out of the ordinary. And I know, of course, James, you do the same. When you escort all your trips right now to Israel, the Holy Land, wherever you go, you are on board together with the guests. And that's what it should be. Yeah. And now I have covered quite a bit, but now I would like to answer any questions.
Yeah. Kristina, it's fantastic. I mean, I didn't have to ask you any questions. You covered everything. But let me, are you requiring anything as AmaWaterways to be on your ship? Or are you just, whatever it is required to get into the country is good enough for you?
In the end, yes, we go with the restrictions that each government, each country has. So if you have, I mean, and everyone has to enter Europe with a negative PCR test, right? That's pretty much the norm. So if you have this test, then pretty much we know you can enter, you will enter the ship. In Portugal right now, because of the situation, you have to do another test before you enter the ship. And that just happened in the last few days that we had to make this decision. But once you're on board, of course, you have to wear your face covering, your face mask. Once you enter the ship, in the public areas, you have to wear your face covering. Our entire crew, no matter if they, I mean, pretty much everyone is vaccinated today, but we still ask the crew to wear the face mask all the time. The guests only in the public areas. So when you come on board, when you move through the ship inside, then we ask you to wear the face covering. The moment you sit down in the lounge, in the restaurant, or you are in your own stateroom, or you are on the sun deck, then of course you can take your face mask off. And that's of course most of the time. We have made an adjustment from open single seating to assigned seating in the dining room. So that is necessarily, at least for the beginning months, you will sit with your own bubble with whom you travel. This could be your family, this could be your travel party, your friends you're together with all the time. But yes, no open single seating at this point, assigned seating. And that's the same in the lounge. When you come in, you sit there, and probably you come in for the sip and sail, our famous included cocktail hour prior to dinner, for of course all the cruise manager announcements, the entertainment, all of this. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. But again, we have summer, and that makes it also easier for us. A lot of guests, we believe, will be outside on the sun deck for a lot of times. We will also have certain meals outside if the weather allows. And with weather, not just sun or rain, we always have to look what the wind is, because you all know when you're on a river cruise ship, there's always a slight wind. So yeah, nothing should fly away, but we can do these things. And that's the same with our wellness program. A lot of our wellness activities, stretching, core, yoga, digestive walks, just to walk on the sun deck after a meal, will all happen outside. And that certainly helps.
Fantastic. Going back to the dining room, I'm most interested in the food here, because your food's so fantastic. Have you remained eliminating the buffets, or are you going to try those back
No,
again?
well, there will be still a buffet for display, kind of, but it will not be a self-service buffet. So you will have a menu, you can look around. We will have certain action stations on board as well, similar to the egg station in the morning, certain egg lunch stations, but then you order from your waiter in the dining room, and your waiter or your waitress will bring you everything to the table. And I always say, out of challenges come opportunities. I know Rudy has been quite busy with our culinary director, Robert Kellerhoff from Switzerland, to create a fantastic menu. We have new menu items in the morning, very sustainable as well, very healthy at the same time, very tasty. So I would say, when I see all of this, what was discussed, the food will even better than it was ever before. Obviously, the wines from the local areas we are cruising through will be fantastic. And I look very much forward to this dining experience.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit. You've always brought on local entertainment onto the ship in the evenings in various places. Are you still able to do that under the new rules?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We have certain evening entertainment that we can still bring on board. We might not have a choir or the singers. When you sing, of course, then you shouldn't be in close distance with someone else. Plus, how can you sing when you wear your face covering, right? That's a little bit more difficult. So there will be certain adjustments that we make. But we will have evening entertainment on board as much as we can do it within the regulations.
Kristin, I've always appreciated that AMA offered different levels of excursions based upon personal preference. What should guests expect during the relaunch?
Yeah.
Are they going to have free time in these cities, or are you still going to do the different speeds? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Once you're on the country, and we are cruising on national waterways, pretty much that's what the rivers are, you are considered like a local in a country. So we will, of course, continue with all our included shore excursions, and we will offer you many choices from our regular city tours in smaller groups. Obviously, we have our quiet walk system as well, which helps because you can socially distance and you can still listen to what the guide is saying. We will also do our active hiking and biking and walking groups. So we will have all different groups and small groups and different type of shore excursions. And then you can go out on your own. There are no restrictions as long as you wear your face coverings where it's requested. And within Germany, for instance, certain countries within Germany, certain states also have different requirements to other states. For instance, Bavaria at the moment is requiring for everyone to wear an FFP, that's an N95 mask. Yeah, so it's required in Bavaria. It's not required like when you're in Cologne, for instance. Yeah, and these things can also change. This can be different next week from what it is today. However, our cruise manager is with you all the time along the way, and we always communicate to you and make sure what is required, that you learn about this. We also have an app, our AmaWaterways app. We have pre-registration where all the information will be transferred to you, no matter if the cruise director is next to you or if you just have your iPhone or so and you look at your app. So there is plenty of information so that it's very, very safe for you to do the things within all the different requirements.
Right. Kristin, I know just trying to manage our groups going to Israel now, wow, it's a major challenge, just trying to get all the paperwork together and everything. I can't even imagine managing the mass like you are going to have to do on some of those cruises. So wow, but I find, as you said, it's really if you make the effort and you get there, it's just a fantastic time to travel. Everything is just I'm not going to say deserted, but very, very few other travelers there. So you can really experience things in a way you probably wouldn't be able to any other year.
Absolutely. And James, I almost compare like wearing a mask like wearing your seatbelt when you're in a car, right? I mean, you get used to this, and then you get adjusted to it. If you have to wear it, you have to wear it. If not, then not. And there are certain small establishments like on the Rhine in Rüdesheim, Siegfried's Mechanical Music Museum, right? That is such a small place indoor that we have decided for right now, we will not operate this excursion, right? Just because it's all inside, it's crowded, it's small, out of safety. But if we eliminate currently this one excursion, then we will have at the same time a different excursion that we feel is very safe. And again, sometimes we get to know new places that we might even keep into the future because our guests just enjoy this type of excursion.
Fantastic. Kristin, one of our most popular cruises is the Danube cruise. We've talked about that and the fam trips on there. And of course, in the summer of 2022, we have 9 different charter cruises on the Danube itinerary in conjunction with the Oberammergau Passion Play. And good news, you may not know, we've actually currently sold 75% of our cabins across those 9 different sailings already. So can you tell us a little bit, can you give us the highlights? We're going to put a map up here for you. And can you just tell us a little bit of the highlights of that Danube cruise? I know we have a lot of our tour hosts that are promoting those cruises for next summer with us today on the webinar. Just give us, your highlights or your insights and maybe those little places that you really enjoy on this itinerary.
Of course, of course. So yeah, depending on the direction, let's start in Wilshofen. I just do it because Germany is my home country. So let's get started there. Wilshofen is a very small Bavarian town next to Passau. And we have a wonderful relationship with this town. Many of our ships have been christened in Wilshofen. So because of this relationship, the city of Wilshofen always creates a miniature Munich Oktoberfest for us, just for our guests and the locals. And that's only for AmaWaterways. So that's how you really get started there. And then we go and cruise to Passau. Passau is the largest organ in Europe, if not even in the entire world. But Passau is also located on the confluence of 3 rivers. Not just the Danube, of course, we will be on the Danube, but there's also the Inn and the Ilz. It's a wonderful city. And I like with Passau, we are docked right in the city center. So no matter if you join our included shore excursions or not, you can right away walk off the ship and in 5 minutes, you are at the cathedral, you're in the middle of the town, you are there where the locals are. And then from Passau, we cross the border into Austria. And as you know, this is European Union. There are no official border controls anymore, right? So the ship is cruising and you don't even know it from Germany into Austria. And then in Austria, we will dock in Linz. And Linz is a city famous for art and, of course, composers there as well. But from Linz, we also get you to either Český Krumlov in the Czech Republic, a beautiful, beautiful city, lots of UNESCO World Heritage there. Or you can decide to go with us to Salzburg or to the Austrian Lake District. At the same time, we offer 3 included shore excursions to different beautiful places. And I'm not sure which one is more beautiful, right? So hard decision, but of course, all of these excursions are included. And then from there, we take you into the scenic Wachau Valley. So that's the wine growing area in Austria. This is where the Melk Abbey is, the largest Benedictine abbey in Europe. This is where we have the Heuriger. Heuriger is the young wine. many smaller villages, picturesque villages along the Danube. And when you go there in summer, it's my favorite time to go. That's when you come to the apricot harvest time, where the Austrians, they grow apricot trees along the rivers. It's beautiful. You get to taste the apricot strudel, apricot dumplings, apricot liqueur, apricot chocolate, so many things. And from there, we go to Dürnstein with Richard the Lionheart's castle. This is a ruin. You can walk up there, or you do a nice bike tour. And then we come to Vienna, the capital of Austria. And in Vienna, we spent a day and a half. You also have the opportunity to join an evening Mozart and Strauss concert there. And from Vienna, we continue on to Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia. There is a castle. You can taste the Slovakian specialties, beer, strudel. All of this have a Bratislava city tour. It's almost like a small Prague. Very precious city. And then we continue on to cruise, cross the border to Hungary, cruise along the Danube Bend. You will see some very spectacular cathedrals along the Danube as well, before we come into Budapest, the capital of Hungary. With the parliament, we do an illumination cruise when the bridges and the parliament is enlightened. And then, of course, Budapest is a very spicy, I would say, Hungarian city, lots of temper there. It's located on two sides, the Pest side, that's the city side and the shopping side, and the Buda side, where there is the castle, the Matthias Church, the Fisherman Bastion, so many wonderful sites that we visit together with you. So I would say the Danube is the perfect combination of culture, capital cities of Central and Eastern Europe, as well as beautiful nature when I look into the Wachau Valley and the wine growing area. And we call the Danube actually the Mother Danube. We call the Rhine Father Rhine. So the Danube is a little bit more, I would say, charming when it comes to this, green and charming. And the Rhine is a little bit more masculine. It's very wide. Two very different experiences, but both the Danube and the Rhine are usually the two rivers where guests who have never been on the river before start cruising. So you have a lot of opportunities to get all your clients to come on board with you and us.
That's fantastic. I appreciate that, Kristin. I know I'm looking forward to Bratislava and Český Krumlov. Yeah, I was going to say my staff will give me a demerit there for botching that name, but those are places I have not been. So I am looking forward to those early June cruises when I'll be on board next summer. And I would definitely agree with you. The Wachau Valley is just spectacular. So we appreciate you taking the time to give us that. Just moving along here, as far as returning home to the United States, how is the testing working? Because right now the United States still requires an antigen test or a PCR test. Mm-hmm. How are you accommodating that, I guess?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we have teamed up actually with a Swiss company, and we are providing these antigen tests, or if needed, PCR tests, both on board our ships, but also in the hotels that we have contracted for our post-land programs. So if you do the whole arrangement with us between cruise and land, of course, at the last spot where you are with us before you fly back to the United States. So we facilitate these tests. An antigen test right now is expected, the cost is around 25 euro. Just to give you a ballpark figure, we can charge this to your onboard account. If you need a PCR test, that's a little bit more, and we know it takes a little bit longer, this PCR test, to get the results back. Costing there right now, the information we got is around 85 euro. But I think most of our guests will need antigen tests, and that is very reasonable. And that's where the results are coming back quickly. So you can take them with you to the airport and fly back home. And that's what I will do myself when I'm in Europe very shortly.
I just did, when I came back from Athens a couple of weeks ago, I just did the antigen test, and that worked fine coming home. That's been one of those changes. Like you said, you have to be flexible in these days. I read an interesting article, opinion article in Bloomberg yesterday, saying that the COVID era policies may be with us to stay. So, Kristin, take out your crystal ball here. What are you preparing? What is AmaWaterways preparing for in Europe in 2022? The same procedure, same testing, or where do you think it's all going?
The testing, as long as it's required, then of course we will do it and facilitate it. We don't know how long it will be required. We don't know if at one point the US is saying, come back and you don't need to have or show a test anymore. It probably all depends on when we really reach herd immunity in our world. But of course, as long as the protocols are there, we will go with the protocols. We have not paused during these COVID times. In addition to actually 3 ships that we have built between AmaSiena, AmaLucia, and AmaDahlia, we have completely refurbished 2 ships. The AmaBella that you will see in August when you come on the FEM with us, and the AmaVerde. And those 2 ships are beautiful again and have allowed us actually to really have this new dining concept, center a little bit more around this, have the space for all the different action stations that I mentioned earlier, right? So, and I believe when we look at dining, a lot of these things will stay. Rudy always says when he travels, or even here in our area, and he goes out and he wants to have a nice breakfast, he's not going to a place where he has to go to the buffet. He loves to look at the menu. He loves to get served. He enjoys a nice conversation and does not want to interrupt the conversation by getting up and just getting in line for a buffet. That's just not his style. And I agree with him. And I do feel that we will go more and more over to this being served instead of getting up and going to a buffet. So all of these things, I believe, will stay in the future. And as I mentioned, many new shore excursions that we currently are evaluating and add to our shore excursion program, just because we also have to eliminate some of the ones indoor. If our guests are raving about this, they will stay, yeah? And that's the same with maybe smaller group excursions. We always had smaller groups, but we also know the more we go into the future and our younger guests are coming to join us, they want to be catered to their own interest. Everything is getting more individualized, personalized, all of this. So this will all stay into the future. So that's where I think we are moving in the right direction. The product will be more beautiful than ever. And also, we haven't talked really about sustainability. I do believe with all what was going on, there will be even more of a trend to sustainability. Our Ama Magna is the most sustainable ship on the river altogether, with 10 small engines that we can turn on and off the way we need it. If we go with the current or against the current, all of these things. And when we look at how ships will be built in the future, I think a lot of these things will be taken into consideration.
I'm glad you pointed out the AmaBella and AmaVerde were completely redone, because those ships are actually 2 of the ships we're using in the summer of 2022 for our Oberammergau Danube program. So that's exciting to know that they're pretty much brand new. again after your overhaul. So,
well, in the end, river cruise ships really don't have to go into dry dock, because normally we have a break between early January and late March. That's when the captain and the nautical team, they stay on board. They go through every area, public areas, staterooms, everything. And then whenever there is some damage or so, they make sure that everything looks like new when the season starts. But of course, when a ship was built a couple of years ago, then furniture gets outdated a little bit, right? Because there are some new trends coming in and all of this. And that's what we have done now. Amabella, Amaverde, we had always contracted out to our Australian partners. We have a big partner in Australia. And as you all know, the Australians cannot come into Europe this year, and maybe only in summer next year. So while the Australians cannot come, and we have talked about 2022, how much demand is there actually from our North American clientele, we have taken those 2 ships, added them back to us, have actually completely refurbished it. They are done, and we are very proud of it. And I'm glad that you have contracted these ships, because I can say they are 2 of the most beautiful ships now we have in our fleet.
Well, that is great news for all of us here. So, Kristin, it obviously you've made the most out of this crisis pandemic time there with all the new launches and getting back to everything. And I'm excited the app is done. I remember when I was out visiting your offices, you all were working on that. So you've obviously been very, very busy over the past 15 months. And I'm just so excited you're able to get back to cruising and what you all love and your passion. So I really appreciate you joining us today. I'm just looking to see if we have any questions here. We have Craig Riley who'd raised his hand twice. I don't know if he's sent us a question here, but any other questions for Kristin here before and as you can tell, they're very, very busy with the restart. So we're not going to make Kristin hang around with us the entire webinar because she's got a lot of things to do to be ready for their new season. So, well, Kristin, I don't see anything, but we really appreciate you joining us today, and we wish you the best of success as everything restarts. And we'll look forward to seeing all the updates and pictures and video that you're going to be sending back.
Absolutely. Thank you again for giving us this opportunity. And remember, when you come on board with us as soon as possible, you have all the opportunities to engage with your clients from the ship. And that's exactly what your guests want to see. And that's why we are on the ships. It's seeing is believing, right? And more important in these times than ever. So I encourage all of you to come, cruise with us, spend time with us, and of course with educational opportunities. And I can only say our entire AmaWaterways family is dedicated. They make everything possible, and we look forward to seeing you on board very, very soon. Thanks again for all your support. We appreciate this.
Thank you, Kristin. And we're gonna go right now to our Oberammergau Romantic Danube promo video, just so you can see a little bit about what we just talked about.
In 2022, an extraordinary discovery awaits. A small and unassuming Bavarian village will transform into a world-renowned venue for the greatest story ever told. Educational Opportunities Tours is honored to present you with this once-in-a-lifetime chance to witness the splendors of Europe and the 42nd Oberammergau Passion Play. Embark on your luxurious AmaWaterways river cruise ship for the 2022 Oberammergau Passion Play and Romantic Danube River Cruise, visiting Germany, Austria, Hungary, and more. Innsbruck, the capital of Tyrol, will delight your senses as you glimpse the Golden Roof, the Olympic ski jump torches, Maria Theresa's Imperial Palace, and more. After a visit to the beautiful Abbey of Ettal, you will arrive in Oberammergau for the Passion Play. After the Black Plague left their small community, the grateful villagers promised God they would show their gratitude by producing a passion play. And once a decade for the last 380 years, they have done just that. This play has grown into an epic musical and dramatic performance that has only been rescheduled 4 times in its entire history, the most recent being in 2020. Discover Neuschwanstein, the fairy tale palace that inspired Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle. Built in the mountains, the setting is nothing short of magical. After unpacking once, you are sure to enjoy your time dining and sightseeing while gliding past beautiful landscapes in your AmaWaterways river cruise ship. All onboard meals and most beverages are included, along with special highlights such as folk dances, themed meals, and live music. Each port of call typically offers multiple styles of adventure, usually your choice of a walking tour, driving tour, or bicycling tour. Explore Vilshofen's beautiful old town before cruising to Passau, a 2,000-year-old city. Witness its Gothic and Italian Baroque architecture and Passau Castle. In Linz, discover the second largest city in Austria. Salzburg and Český Krumlov are all just an excursion choice away. Savor the Baroque elegance of Vienna. Take in the majestic Opera House, the former Imperial Palace, Parliament, Town Hall, and more. The glittering riverfront of Budapest will inspire your imagination and bolster your spirits. Experience Matthias Church, Castle Hill, and more. With so much history and adventure to discover in Hungary, we invite you to register for the optional post-tour extension. Enjoy 2 days exploring the countryside, where you'll tour a genuine Hungarian farm with traditional cowboys performing feats of daring horsemanship. Dine in a Renaissance restaurant and wander the streets of medieval Szentendre. It's your turn to experience the 42nd production of the Oberammergau Passion Play and Romantic Danube River Cruise, presented by Educational Opportunities Tours. Don't let this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity pass you by. Call your local tour host or contact EO Tours at 800-247-0017 or at eo.travel to register today.
I hope you enjoyed that. Echoing what Kristin said, there is certainly much good news about countries reopening in Europe. While there does not seem to be a uniform standard of what is needed to enter Europe, certainly PCR test seems uniform, we are continually monitoring those requirements and will advise any of you traveling in the next few months about what is needed. I do very much encourage vaccination, as that may become the standard as countries increasingly face variants of the COVID-19 policy, but we'll see where it goes. As Kristin said, we just have to be flexible and stay on top of all the requirements to travel. Turning back to Oberammergau, we are inside of a year now from opening night of the Passion story of Christ that was inspired by actual events during a pandemic in the 17th century. Oberammergau itself is ready for the play, which is now the fulfillment of a vow, almost 400 years old. The actors are back to growing their beards, and everything seems to be on schedule. The biggest question mark is if they can fill their theater under all the social distancing guidelines, but they're not going to know that for a while. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that, but they are planning accordingly going forward in their operations. At EO, we have 8 different itineraries in 2022 that feature the Oberammergau Passion Play, including the Danube River Cruise that we discussed previously. We are currently anywhere from 60 to 75% filled on our programs, and we've had actually close to 200 registrations across all those programs over the last 45 days. So as travelers see Europe reopen, I anticipate we will gain momentum on registrations in the next few months. Because some of you are just starting to recruit or may have guests that have actually wanted to see Europe reopen before registering, we've extended the second payment date to 9 months prior to departure. It was a year. So that initial $600 deposit will be the only requirement for registration up until the 9-month mark. Final payment will remain at 6 months prior, as that's the time when the Oberammergau Passion Play tickets are we pay for those and several other things. So we will keep the final payment where it is. And those changes, the 9-month change was actually driven by what we're hearing in the office from you, our tour hosts. So we're trying to be flexible there as well. So let me show you again the various itineraries, and besides the highlights of each of these tours as we go through, we also have departure dates which have a good amount of space still on them. That's not to say if you are promoting for a date that it's not listed, that it is closed. We have saved the remaining space on unlisted dates on this presentation for tour hosts who are already recruiting for those dates. So let's begin with the slides. And here, I think we're starting with our European Capitals Tour, and that is a 10-day program, 8 nights. It visits Munich, Innsbruck, Oberammergau, Prague, Leipzig, and Berlin. Of course, the Passion Play ticket is included in that. And you see we have a few dates left. The European Capitals, I think, is about 75% full. It's been a very, very popular itinerary, both for when we were going to go in 2020 and still yet again in 2022. So you can see there that July 13 and September 7 are available for larger groups, and we still have space on those 2 June dates. June is turning out again in this 2022 cycle to be the most popular month based on what the Oberammergau Passion Play Committee is seeing on their demands. So if you can jump to some of these later dates, those will be even more available in most cases. Next, we have the Best of Switzerland tour, which is also 10 days. Again, visiting Munich and a lot of highlights in Switzerland. Switzerland is one of my favorite countries. You get down to the southern part, Interlaken and Lucerne, get to the Matterhorn and Zermatt, and some great cheese in Gruyere. I love cheese, so I had to throw that one in. Passion Play is also included here, and you see we have regular dates throughout. July 23, August 10 are definitely a couple of our dates where we have a lot of availability, and there's a few other dates throughout the season on the Best of Switzerland tour. Next, we have our Luther itinerary, Reformation, and we have multiple dates here that are available. And this really follows the footsteps of Martin Luther. We start off in the south in Bavaria, visit the Passion Play, and we work our way north to a lot of the cities that were home to Martin Luther through the years: Wittenberg, Eisenach, Erfurt, and then, of course, Worms and Mainz, also back in the Rhine Valley. So really cover all the historical places of Martin Luther combined with the Passion Play. So always a popular itinerary. We always have fewer dates here on this. So we still have a few dates available there as well. And then next we have Italy and Oberammergau. We're starting out, most of these itineraries start out in Italy and work their way or start out in the north and work their way south. So they start out in Munich. All these itineraries fly into Munich, and then some fly back from different places. This flies back from Rome, and our other itineraries, some fly back from Berlin, Frankfurt, Zurich. But everything starts in Munich and then works its way out. So we go to Oberammergau, down through Innsbruck, and then Venice, Florence, Assisi, Rome. All the highlights of Italy that you want to see. This is our longest itinerary, our second longest itinerary at 12 days. And we do have a few dates here still available. June and September 22 are the ones that are the widest open, if you will. And then we have our two village programs that stay in beautiful Austrian villages for the entire week. You're there and you just hub and spoke out of these. So our Alpine Wonders program stays in the Steinach-Matrai area. That's the valley directly south from Innsbruck. And you get to go to Salzburg, Innsbruck, Bavarian castles. We have a couple of optional days here. So if you want to get out and explore some on your own, you can do those, or you can take the optional days to Aachen, beautiful Alpine Lake, and up the Stubai Glacier, or do your own thing. Both Steinach and Matrai, those areas are connected by train, so it's very easy to get to Innsbruck, and frankly, you can go anywhere from Innsbruck on a train, pretty much. So, you'll have those option days as well, or just go out and hike. Beautiful hiking areas in that part of Austria. I mean, I usually go out and do that myself when I'm there. So if you just want to get away from it all, just go up climbing in the Alps all day and come back and take a picnic lunch and come back for dinner. So beautiful places. We offer 3 different extensions here, and you see the dates of those. The Swiss extensions proved to be more popular. We also have an extension down to Venice, and we have a village stay available on any of the dates. You can stay longer in the village if you want to go and explore on your own. We have multiple dates there that are available in May, June, July, and September. So, and then our other program is the Alpine Odyssey program, and that's in a valley also south of Innsbruck, which runs in the Stubai Valley, which runs to the west and finishes at the Stubai Glacier at the other end. So just an absolutely gorgeous, another gorgeous valley. Same basic itinerary as the other. The hotels here are a little bit more upscale if you want that, a little bit more inclusive. The Stubai Glacier Day is included on this itinerary. Again, we have the same extensions here as well, and we definitely have some available dates. The August dates, interesting, on the Alpine Odyssey are the most available dates on this itinerary. And then finishing up here, our last 2, Holy Land and Oberammergau is a combination of both the Holy Land and the Oberammergau Passion Play. So 6 nights in the Holy Land, 5 nights in Germany and Austria. We have, so it's a 13-day program, a lot of different departure dates. You can see what's available on your screen here. We sort of do the digested version there, including Salzburg, Innsbruck, the Bavarian Castles Day in Oberammergau in Europe. And then we hit all the highlights in the Holy Land, in the Galilee, and in Jerusalem. So it's been a very, very popular program for 2020. It remains for 2022. So, and with the Holy Land back, and functional, and we've seen groups there here in the last month, and Europe reopening, we're really excited about this program. And then finally, we had the river cruise, which we certainly talked about. I wanted to show you what we still have available. We still have space on June 2 and September 1. June 9th is the date with the most space available at this point. Again, we have cabins. We have a few cabins on all the other dates, but we're really saving for those hosts that are promoting on those dates. So if you haven't started on the river cruise, I recommend that. Again, I think across all of our sailings, there's 9 sailings, we have 130 cabins left. So those have remained full, and we continue to get registrations just about every day for our Oberammergau and river cruise program. So Kristin told you all about the cruise, and then of course there are 3 nights there on the ahead to visit the Passion Play, Innsbruck Passion Play, and then we take you to Vilshofen, and all of our itineraries go from Vilshofen to Budapest, that direction. So you're going downstream, I think that is, to Budapest there. So those are, you have all the itineraries for next year. There's still time to recruit, and if you have questions or you're interested in one of those, please give us a call or email us, or however you want to contact us. Our tour host assistant team is ready to work with you on your date and getting you brochures. And I certainly don't want you to miss this once-in-a-decade experience. So, Tom, I think I probably talked enough today. I will send it back to you.
Thank you, James. No, you gave us some great information. I hope everybody's excited as I am. I can't wait to see which one of those trips I have an opportunity to participate in. I'm really, really looking forward to getting back to Oberammergau and the river cruises. And the last 2 years ago, I was supposed to go on the European capitals, and hope to get to do that again because it looks like exciting. And Switzerland also too, though. I'd like to do that. So yeah, bucket list kind of stuff there, but exciting stuff. Hope that you take advantage of that. You know, we want to thank James and Kristin, but before we do, we got a video I want to show you from our Holy Land group that's there now. So a testimony from one of our folks there. So
and Tom, let me say here, Earl Bradshaw, who's I think our interviewee, was watching our webinar from the Olive Tree Hotel. I don't know if he's still online, but he was there. So
okay.
I think he's here on the testimony.
Okay, great. So Earl, if you're watching, hi. Let's see Earl.
Greet you in the name of the Lord, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We are finishing up our week here and have had a wonderful time. Mike asked me to speak a little bit about safety. We have absolutely felt safe in two different ways. Number one, COVID, they have been just tremendous in making sure that all protocols are followed, that we feel safe here. And then the question that always gets asked whenever there's something going on here, do we feel safe as far as our physical health? Absolutely. As I tell people, I've experienced Israeli security, and this is my 7th time here, and each time I come, I feel safe because I know I am safe. People care about the tourists here, and we're so thankful to be able to be pilgrims here. As far as going to the holy sites, it's absolutely been amazing. We are the first group that many of the folks are seeing in 15 months. The priest at Tepka was absolutely overjoyed to see us. We were moved by that, the welcome that we received and how wonderful they were. We did not think we were going to be able to get into Bethlehem, but we got permission the day before we were scheduled to come to Jerusalem, and we got in Bethlehem. And when Chris from the Nissan brothers got on the bus, he was in tears, which caused us to feel the same way, but they were tears of joy, getting to see our brother in Christ and to hopefully help them a little bit and encourage them. Today, we got to go to the Holocaust Museum, absolutely wonderful. Of course, they were surprised to see Americans as well. But each place that we have gone to, we have received a warm, incredible welcome. Whenever there's concerns or awareness of COVID, people have been very safe and wonderful. This afternoon, we went to Jericho. Once again, first tour group in 15 months. They rolled out the red carpet for us. They were overjoyed, and we were overjoyed to see them. So, my friends, I hope that you will be able to get back here soon. There were some hoops that we jumped through, but we're thankful that we went through them. It has been well worth it. I look forward to coming back many, many more times. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his favor shine upon you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, Earl. Thank you so much for that wonderful testimony. It was great to hear that you got to go and visit Bethlehem. And I know how excited that the folks in Bethlehem and Jericho and Tagba all were to see you guys. And so thanks for doing that. And thanks for everybody who's worked so hard to make that possible. You know, this has been a lot of requirements, but our team there at Lakeland are working twice as hard to make sure they're getting everything in order. All the new requirements are being met. And so a big shout out to all those folks who have made the pilot program success and have worked so hard to allow all of our groups to get there. We really appreciate all the work that they're doing. Ryan and Shelby and John and the Creative Services team, thank you all for this. James and Kristen, Paula, Jamie, Mark, thank you all for what you're doing to help this happen. And we hope that all of you will get to go on one of our trips soon. We look forward to being back with you. It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. God's peace be upon you, and go from here with the power of the Holy Spirit upon you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Go in peace.